Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk video. In today's episode, we'll be talking about DMX's battle for his soul. But before we begin, I just wanted to remind you guys that if you would like to further support the channel, join the Truth Movement. I have launched the Truth Movement on YouTube because I am trying to raise enough money to get Truth Records off the ground and release some music this year. On this channel, we often talk about the problems the music industry is causing. Now, I would like to try my best to offer a solution by pushing positive music through Truth Records. The same way they use music to destroy us, we will use it to save our people. So if you would like to further support the channel and get some cool perks along with it, join the Truth Movement by hitting the join button below or by clicking the link in the description. Thank you all. Now let's get right into it. In the late 90s, early 2000s, DMX was one of the biggest rappers in the world, dropping several hit records, certifying him as a legend in hip-hop. But just a few short years later, DMX would be on the opposite end of things, as he would disappear from the spotlight, being arrested repeatedly and spending several years behind bars. DMX went from being the biggest rapper in the world to a prison inmate who was slowly losing it all. The entire time DMX was on the rise and becoming famous, he let the world know exactly what he paid for that fame. DMX openly confessed to the world that he sold his soul to the devil, and he also showed the world his struggles on trying to get his soul back. By the end of this episode, you will see with your own eyes DMX's deal with the devil and his eventual battle for his soul. DMX would blow up and reach superstardom after his debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, sold millions of copies and went on to rise to platinum certification. On that album, DMX had a song called Damien, a very dark, eerie song that depicted a deal with the devil for success and fame. A story we have heard plenty of times before on this channel. But before we go into the lyrics of that song, it's important to note that DMX had been signed to a major record label since 1991 after Columbia Records found him in the Vibe magazine unsigned hype column. DMX wouldn't see any real commercial success until 1998 when he released the single Get At Me Dog off his upcoming 1999 debut studio album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Everything about this album is symbolic of DMX's deal with the devil. The name of the album clearly says it all, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, clearly acknowledging that his music was dark and being used to guide his audience to a burning end. The most telling evidence of his deal with the devil was his song Damien, a song that openly depicts DMX selling his soul and serving Lucifer for his success. In the song, DMX is heard speaking to a man called Damien who represents the devil, and he offers DMX the world just to serve him. In the song, DMX raps, "Why is it every move I make turns out to be a bad one? Where's my guardian angel? Need one, I wish I had one." Damien replies, "I'm right here, shorty. I'ma hold you down, I'ma show you how." DMX responds, "But who?" With Damien responding, "Name's D like you, but my friends call me Damien, and I'ma put you hip to something about this game we in. You and me could take it there, and you'll be the hottest ever living. That's a given, you'll see." DMX responds, "That's what I've been wanting all my life." As you can see, it's obvious D is the devil himself, and DMX is referring to his alliance with Lucifer. We see that DMX opens the song wishing he had a guardian angel, and then Damien replies that he's right here, shorty. This proves that Damien is indeed supposed to represent Lucifer, as Lucifer is a fallen angel. This is why when DMX calls out for a guardian angel, Damien answers his call, stating that he is right here because Damien is Lucifer, and Lucifer's a fallen angel. This openly proves that DMX is talking about Lucifer when he refers to Damien. This is why Damien offers DMX the world, telling him he's gonna let him know something about the game they're in. Damien tells DMX that together they can make him the hottest ever living. Open as day, DMX was letting the world know he sold his soul and was willing to serve Lucifer in order to be the biggest star in the world. The hook of the song is also very telling, as he raps, "The snake, the rat, the cat, the dog, how you gonna see him if you're living in the fog?" These lyrics are actually very important, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. What DMX means by these lyrics is how are you going to spot the workings of the devil when you're living in a world that's consumed by it? You can't spot the evil if you can't see it because you're living in it. Just like we saw in the Matrix movies, everybody living in the Matrix but a few were clueless that they were actually in the Matrix. This is exactly what these lyrics represent. How are you going to spot the evil if they have programmed us to think it's normal? In the second verse, he states something very important when he raps as Damien. "I'm about to have you driving, probably a Benz, but we gotta stay friends. Blood out, blood in." DMX responds, "Sounds good to me. What I got to lose?" Damien then responds, "I'm nothing I can think of." DMX responds, "Anyone would choose. Got me pushing the whips, taking trips across seas, pockets stay laced. I floss G's, for that I will bleed. Give him my right hand. Now that I think about it, yo, that's my man. Open as Day, DMX talks about taking an oath and even being reborn through Lucifer. DMX openly talks about Damien giving him everything he wants and how he would bleed for Damien and give him his right hand. After reading these lyrics, you can see that DMX clearly sold his soul. And if we look at his career from that moment on, it was obvious this is what seems to have happened. See, DMX was signed for years before he took off. It wasn't until he released his debut album 8 years later that he saw any real success. It's not a coincidence that his first album will have a song talking about selling his soul to the devil, and the album itself being called It's Dark and Hell is Hot. DMX would also sign to Def Jam Records in 1998, around the same time he wrote the Damien song. All the proof points to DMX selling his soul, as it was the way he was able to finally blow up and become a mega star. We see even more proof of DMX selling his soul and being reborn through Lucifer in his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, released the same year as his first album. This time, the album cover openly shows DMX performing a rebirth ritual, as he's pictured covered in blood for his album cover. We heard DMX reference his rebirth ritual in the Damien song, where he talks about serving Damien and proving his loyalty with blood out and blood in. This album cover represents his rebirth and is the reason DMX was becoming the biggest star in rap. Lucifer was using him to influence the world. In this album, there's a song called Omen that is a continuation to the Damien song. This Omen song features no other than Marilyn Manson, an open Satanist who openly serves Lucifer. DMX's music really had nothing in common with Marilyn Manson, but they were both serving the same masters. In this Omen song, DMX not only confirms that Damien is Lucifer and that he sold his soul to him, but he also seems to want out of his deal with the devil, like we have seen many artists in the past. In the song, DMX raps as Damien. Wasn't acting like that when you asked for that favor. DMX responds, yo, I ain't asked you for nothing. Damien replies, oh yes you did. When you really needed something, then you allowed me to give it to you? You sold me your soul when you didn't say no. DMX replies, just let me go, with Damien responding, now give me what you owe. What were you thinking? Ain't nothing for free. Ain't nobody you know can defeat me. DMX replies, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, and with your help, I know the devil won't win. As open as day, DMX confessed to the world that he made a deal with the devil and was serving him. DMX also mentions calling on the Lord, which I believe is when the battle for his soul began. In the bridge of the song, we even hear Marilyn Manson singing about taking everyone to hell, even admitting that they know what they do and that they do it well. In the bridge, Marilyn Manson sings, take you all on your way to hell. We know what we do and we do it well, openly confessing that they were guiding their fans to a burning end. I don't understand how people can hear these songs and think nothing of it, especially when you see the album cover for the album the song is on. People refuse to see the truth even when it's right in their faces. DMX making a song with Marilyn Manson is already questionable. Add in that he admits to selling his soul to the devil, and he called the song Omen should raise a big red flag. In DMX's music video for Slipping, which is in the Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album, we see DMX portraying himself in hell with what appears to be tormented souls all around him that are stuck in a burning end. The imagery is very telling, and I believe it depicts what DMX represented at the time, guiding souls to a burning end. DMX was being used to spread destructive morals to the masses. His music often promoted evil to his fans. He spread this evil music to his own people in urban communities, influencing them to live destructive lives, selling out his own people so he can live like a god. I believe that after DMX sold his soul and made it, he wasn't proud of his decision. He started realizing that nothing Lucifer gave him would truly fill his soul. DMX wanted out of his deal with the devil and no longer wanted to serve him. And we can see that as he started recording songs where he would mention Jesus and God and asking for forgiveness. The thing is, with all my research done on DMX, it doesn't seem like he was ever able to escape Lucifer's chains. The reason for this, in my opinion, is because DMX has always had a weakness: his addictions. Sadly, these addictions always seem to control DMX's decisions in his life. Throughout DMX's life, he would go on to be arrested over 30 times, with majority of those arrests happening after he was famous. Most of his arrests were directly tied to his addiction problems. Lucifer uses everything and anything against those who are trying to leave him to keep them from making their way back to God. It appeared that the moment DMX tried to turn his back on serving Lucifer's agenda, he was no longer allowed to have a successful career. The songs that he did make praising God and asking for forgiveness didn't get the same amount of attention. During one of DMX's prison stays, he was interviewed and he spoke about God and the devil.
First came to Arizona, man, and I remember one day coming from the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning and pulling over on the highway. We like 4 cars, just to watch the sunrise. And it was at that point that I fell in love with Arizona. I said, you know what, this has to be God's country, because I'd never seen anything as beautiful as that sunrise. Then I met the devil in God's country, and it's not so much who, it's what happens and things that the devil does. It's not so much a person, even though he acts through people. You can't call one person the devil.
Joe Arpaio?
You can't call any one person the devil. You can't do that because no one person has enough power to be the devil. It's through all these hardships that I realized that, you know what? This is God's country because I met the devil here. Because if I hadn't met the devil here, I wouldn't realize I was strong enough to overcome the obstacles that the devil would place in my path. And it's by overcoming these obstacles that I realized that this is God's country because he helped me get over these obstacles. He helped me get over these hurdles.
Okay, but when you're done here, out of here.
I'm not looking back.
You're not coming back?
No, I'm not coming back.
As you heard for yourself, DMX speaks about meeting the devil and knowing that God is real because he knows the devil is real. DMX also seems like he indeed wants to change his life around, like he wanted to break the chains Lucifer had over him. He was speaking on God helping him get through the obstacles Lucifer had put in front of him. He also talks about how Lucifer is not just one person, but that he works through many different people. DMX knows this firsthand, as he was used by Lucifer to guide the masses to a burning end. In that interview, DMX looks honest and seems as if he truly wants to be on the right path. The thing is, it sadly didn't seem like he was ever able to free himself from the chains that Lucifer had on him, and his battle for his soul continued. As hard as DMX tried, he couldn't free himself from his addictions. He couldn't escape the life Lucifer created for him because, in my opinion, he was so far gone. He battled for his soul to the very end, and sadly, it did come to an end. Unfortunately, it seems that even though the industry had turned their backs on DMX, DMX seemed to make his way back to it. In 2019, DMX resigned to Def Jam Records, and Def Jam announced that DMX had came home. It appears that DMX chose to go back to the industry he once was criticizing and sadly continued to be used to push the agenda. Even though I do believe that if DMX was given the right help and enough time, he could have made his way back to God and freed himself of the chains Lucifer had on his soul. But sadly, he wouldn't live long enough to do so. I believe Lucifer might have known this as well and chose to do what he said he was going to do all the way back in the Omen song, collect his soul before DMX tried to make his way back to God again. On April 9, 2021, DMX unfortunately passed, losing his battle with his addictions. Sadly, it seems like Lucifer wouldn't allow DMX to leave his side this time. DMX was found unresponsive in his home after he had a heart attack caused by his addictions. Lucifer knew DMX was special with his words. He knew he could influence the world, so he attached himself to DMX since DMX was very young. DMX had a hard life full of darkness. This made it easier for Lucifer to influence him and eventually consume him and use him to get to millions of people. DMX gained the whole world at the price of his eternal soul. When he had the world, you can tell he still felt empty. Even though DMX wasn't able to free himself from Lucifer's chains, his life still shows a great example on just how much God is patient with his people. You must remember, God would always be waiting on you, and he would always forgive you as long as you're sincere. With God's help and dedication, you can free yourself of whatever Lucifer has over you. This is what DMX wanted to represent, and I respect him for that. He can still help others see the truth by his life playing an example of what the true price of selling your soul is. Like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. We must not allow them to guide us to a burning end. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I just want to give a special shout out to the Truth Movement members. Thank you so much for all your support. If you would like to further support the channel, join the channel below by hitting the join button. Or you can join me on Patreon, the link would be in the description. Another way you can further support the channel is by buying a True Fizz shirt. If you would like a True Fizz shirt, email me at thetruefizz211@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at thetruefizz01. Also, please leave a comment below on your thoughts on this video and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button as this helps other people find these videos. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of future videos. Please follow me on Instagram at thetruefizz01 and on TikTok at thetruefizz. I will gladly appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye.